What if you could read between the lines of someone's personality and see the danger before it unfolds? The male covert narcissist presents 5 distinct faces to the world, outer behaviors that mask a deeply hidden manipulative agenda. And each of these faces is designed to disarm, confuse, and control. I spent the last 20 years researching self-worth and narcissistic relationships. As a coach, author, and survivor myself, I teach practical systems to help empower you. In this video, I'll decode the 5 faces of the male covert narcissist and show what each one really means so that you can protect yourself in any situation. Of course, narcissism exists in all genders, but in this video, I want to focus specifically on how male covert narcissism shows up and the faces he presents to the world. Think of each face as a mask he wears to secure narcissistic supply, shift power dynamics, and keep you emotionally off balance. The first face is the stoic martyr. On the surface, he appears calm and in control. He doesn't complain in obvious ways. Instead, he sighs, tightens his jaw, and retreats just enough to make you feel that something's wrong. But he won't say it. He expects you to notice, to ask, and to give without him ever having to voice a need. He never asks for comfort or support directly. Instead, he presents his suffering as silent and noble, expecting others to take care of him intuitively. His pain becomes the unspoken priority in the room, while everyone else's is quietly dismissed. In this dynamic, emotional care flows one direction, toward him. If you express your own needs, he'll downplay or ignore them. If you share something painful, he'll reframe the conversation to make it about his deeper suffering. This isn't real stoicism. Real stoicism involves self-regulation and emotional responsibility, something covert narcissists are incapable of. This instead is a performance, a way to extract empathy and attention without taking any emotional risks. The stoic martyr doesn't have to yell or rage to stay in control. His suffering does the work for him. It makes him the center of attention without looking needy. It keeps you in the caregiving role, always proving your loyalty, always trying to soothe what he won't name. By the way, if you're wondering how to assess the level of risk you're dealing with, I've created a free narcissist protection checklist to help. Just grab it in the description below. The second face is the sarcastic dominator. He doesn't raise his voice or argue outright. Instead, he punishes through mockery, thinly veiled insults, and backhanded comments. His sarcasm is constant, and it's almost always aimed downward, meaning to undercut, belittle, and destabilize. It's not just that he makes jokes at your expense, it's that he does it with a smirk in front of others and then watches how you react. If you show hurt, he'll accuse you of being too sensitive. If you confront him, he'll insist it was a joke. The cruelty is always disguised as humor, giving him plausible deniability while keeping you off balance. Over time, this wears you down. You begin second-guessing your reactions, wondering if you really are too sensitive or too emotional or too dramatic. And that self-doubt is the point. If he can keep you questioning yourself, you'll stop questioning him. In social settings, this face is especially dangerous. He knows how to turn a group against you without ever appearing hostile. He'll say something designed to embarrass you, then watch others laugh, all while acting like he's just being playful. Meanwhile, your discomfort becomes the entertainment. This isn't about wit or playfulness, it's about dominance. The third face is the needy dependent. He doesn't appear demanding at first. He starts by presenting himself as overwhelmed, unlucky, or in a crisis. He just lost his job, or rent is tight, or he forgot his wallet, and then it's medical. He needs a surgery, or he's injured, or he's not feeling well. It's always something urgent, inconvenient, and just plausible enough that stepping in feels like the kind and moral thing to do. At first, it feels like support. You step in thinking he'll get back on his feet, but he never does. The more you give, the more is expected. Groceries, caregiving, bills, favors. It slowly becomes your job to carry both of you. And if you say no or ask him to take responsibility, you're immediately framed as the problem. He doesn't just expect you to stay, he demands it. You're told that leaving would make you cruel or heartless or abusive. He cries and he begs, but it's not because he fears losing you. It's because he can't bear losing his supply. He doesn't say, I love you. He says, how can you do this to me after everything I've been through? If you try to pull away, the punishment will escalate. He'll say you're selfish. He'll straight out call you a narcissist. He'll threaten to tell others about how heartless you are. He'll bring in authority figures, doctors, therapists, family, people who see only his victimhood and validate the story he's carefully constructed. And this isn't about temporary neediness. It's about long-term power and dominance. The demands start small, then quietly multiply into a list that you can never keep up with. He'll never say, you owe me, but that's the emotional contract that he is enforcing. And every time you try to step back, he tightens the grip by increasing the crisis. Over time, the dynamic becomes suffocating. You aren't just helping someone through a hard time. You've become the unpaid caretaker in a one-sided relationship. And the more you give, the more you're accused of not giving enough. The needy dependent doesn't just drain your energy. He weaponizes his weakness, turning it into proof that you're the villain if you ever stop serving him. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already buried under guilt, obligation, and the fear of what he might do if you walk away. The fourth face is the cold stonewaller. This version of the male covert narcissist doesn't explode. He withdraws. He punishes through silence, not to self-regulate, but to destabilize. He uses his absence as a tool to make others feel uncertain, ashamed, and desperate to repair something they don't even understand. You can be in the same room and still feel erased. He won't look at you. He won't speak to you, won't acknowledge your existence. You ask a question, he pretends he didn't hear it. You try to reconnect and he'll go colder. And the silence isn't empty, it's loaded. It communicates disapproval, superiority, and resentment without him ever having to say a word. He withholds presence, eye contact, touch, and attention. In private, this creates emotional tension. In public, it creates humiliation. He'll sit beside you at dinner, be super engaging with everyone else, all while pretending you're not there. The entire experience becomes a silent show of power. He doesn't explain why he's shut down. He doesn't resolve conflict or clarify what's caused the shift. That would give you clarity, and clarity would reduce his control. So instead, he lets the silence stretch, knowing that you'll eventually start blaming yourself. Over time, this tactic reshapes your sense of reality. You stop expecting emotional responsiveness. You learn that speaking up only makes things worse. You start calculating your tone, your words, your timing, trying to avoid another freeze-out. The cold stonewaller doesn't just withdraw, he conditions you. He teaches that avoiding conflict is the only way to keep the peace, that being ignored is your fault, that emotional connection is something that you have to earn by anticipating his moods and staying in line. Eventually, you're not just trying to be loved, you're begging to be tolerated. This phase keeps you in a constant state of self-correction. You lose your voice, your confidence, your clarity, and when he finally returns, calm as if nothing happened, there's no repair, no acknowledgement, no resolution, just a reset. The cycle begins again, and the silence always comes back. The fifth face is the avoidant ghost. This version of the male covert narcissist doesn't avoid to protect his inner world. He avoids to punish. He disappears not out of fear of closeness, but as a power move. His absence is a calculated silence used to shift the dynamic and destabilize your emotional footing. He leaves when your needs are showing up. If you're sick, grieving, overwhelmed, he's gone. If your mother is dying or your child is hurt, he suddenly can't handle the pressure. You're told you're too needy or too dramatic or too much. His message is clear. Your emotions are a burden, and if you want him to stay, you have to erase them. Over time, you learn to ask for nothing. You stop expressing pain. You stop reaching out, and you stop taking up space. You shrink your feelings to keep him from walking away again. You teach yourself to be easier, more agreeable, less demanding, not because it feels good, but because it's the only way to keep him from vanishing. The avoidant ghost punishes you for needing him, and the longer it goes on, the more you internalize the belief that needing anything at all is what drove him away. You learn to survive on scraps. You learn to perform, and slowly you lose the parts of yourself that once believed that love included being seen, supported, or safe. Thanks so much for watching. YouTube thinks you're going to love this video right here on the screen, so go ahead and give it a click. Yep. It goes even deeper into spotting narcissists, avoiding their traps, and creating boundaries that actually work. Don't miss it. It's the next step toward creating the life you deserve. Okay, I'll see you over there. Bye.